3,000 people. We're here to talk about caps today. Um, for the people tuned in, myself and a bunch of the cats on the products team with cookies, a bunch of my associates and homies have been experimenting with mushrooms for a long time. Just like we used to take them to get high and to, just have a good time. And later in life, just like cannabis, learned that there's some medicinal benefits to it. I personally never really microdosed until these were put in my life, but I was just eating shrooms to eat shrooms. And so when we started seeing the kind of medical industry with mushrooms kind of break through and people acknowledging there's medical benefits, and obviously we're working on the cannabis side and on the CBD, CBN side, we came up with this idea. And I really wanted to give the audience a chance to hear exactly what CAPS is. This is our first product. Um, I want them to hear it from you. I want them to understand exactly what this is and how it came to life.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, the concept of combining medicinal mushrooms with the potential use of like psilocybin in conjunction with cannabinoids and terpenes, I feel was like the brainchild of like the whole cookies team, right? It kind of came to light to me, and we make other products with you guys like live rosin and solventless products. So at first I was like, say what? You want to try to do psilocybin? You want to try to do mushrooms? What are we talking about here? Are we talking about medicinal mushrooms? Are we talking about, the mushrooms we all take recreational? So at first it caught me off guard, right? And then, I looked into it, and just like in cannabis, we got all kinds of like barriers and laws that we've had to navigate around since the late 90s. And so they consider cannabis and psilocybin as a controlled substance. And I look at local, state, federal, and global laws, and so I did some research on it and found that, John Hopkins and a couple other publications that are out there had a lot of significant evidence base for mental health and depression, microdosing psilocybin. And so there's evidence out there. There's a lot of medical, undiscovered medical research that still has to happen. And while we were having these conversations, Oregon passed, right?
Which
So
is
one,
huge, super
huge,
huge. And
huge.
Oakland has something in Oakland Pass as well. Just Oakland. I'm not
Yeah,
sure what happened there, but I know that they had a big announcement that they're going to decriminalize mushrooms or something like that.
yeah. And so, but I mean, it's huge the fact that like a state will recognize legally, that's like the first time we've ever seen anything like that. So I think that gives us good hope and indication that this next chapter can be explored. And I've got some different links and stuff internationally that I've kind of sourced out. And there are other avenues besides the United States that will also allow you to study this. So I think from the big picture, conceptually, looking at the research from psilocybin, what I know about cannabis and terpenes and making ratio-based formulations in the past, and my experience with that, I started to like really look deeper into what's behind a mushroom. What's in the medicinal mushroom, what's in the psilocybin, and the mushroom base itself, very similar to like cannabis buds. Like everyone's like talking about the buds, but when you're showing off the buds and everything that you got, it's like really the resin production, right? The subsurface is the buds, but we're really interested in the resin production because the resin and the glands themselves are carrying with it the flavor, the aroma, the effect, all the cannabinoids. And there's a lot of nuances that are in the actual plant that when you smoke it, like you're smoking a joint right now, you're going to get a different wide effect of everything that's in that plant in your lungs. So it's as organic as it gets. You're smoking, you're filling up the lungs and the bloodstream with everything that's in the plant. And with mushrooms, um, there's just a lot of high nutritional value that's in them in the base, right? There's like volatile oils and proteins and fats and carotenoids and flavonoids, vitamins, B1, 2, 3, 4. There's also a very unique triterpenes that are in mushrooms.
So mushroom has its own terps as well, just like cannabis has terps. And not only is it the flavor, but it actually affects your body too, right? So
Yeah,
that's
so when
crazy.
it's crazy. So when you look at the mushroom and you look at like what Jeff was doing as I looked deeper into it early on in this project, I was like, okay, so the mushroom is growing off of like a wood or growing organically. It creates this sub base that then has all of these like really good compounds that are in them and vitamins. And then there's this terpene base. And so when you look deeper into the health benefits of like mushrooms as supplements, you find that there's a lot of mushroom guys out there, like we talked about on that whole podcast. There's like the gas station mushrooms.
Gas station mushrooms, which this is absolutely not. And I see people in the comments right now, and some people are saying, well, maybe you're just trying to trick people into thinking they're getting high. Absolutely not. Actually, the reason why we're doing this live right now is to let people know exactly what this is and the benefits from it. And the reason why the logo looks like this, well, ladies and gentlemen, before we break this down, you should know that anywhere we can do research, we're doing research right now. We're looking for the best strains of mushrooms. As soon as we could roll them out legally, we will. We're not trying to get ourselves caught up and do something that we shouldn't be doing right now federally. But I want you to kind of break down clarity, the daytime one, which is the second one. I didn't get on the clarities right away. I was on the bedheads first, but I want to start with clarity because when I started taking clarity, these things really like did a lot for me, especially with the kind of business I do, how much I'm on the phone, how much I need to focus on what we're doing day to day with all the different things I'm doing. Can you break down for people, kind of in layman's terms? I'm imagining a bunch of people are fried right now, stoned, just trying to figure out what they're going to get out of they take a caps, right? Can you kind of break down exactly what clarity is? Like our first, let's just start with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So in short, I mean, we created a designer line of nutraceutical products that
Talk that
provide,
shit, Tony. Yeah,
you
talk that
know,
shit.
that provides consumers with like very certain health benefits, both daytime and nighttime. So when you're talking about clarity, um, you're talking about the daytime skew,
Yeah.
right? So we got two lines that we started with, and these are baselines. So like you got to start somewhere, and we combined very specific cannabinoid ratios with very specific terpenes, both from cannabis and from mushroom, in combination with very specific mushroom blends. So the clarity obviously is going to give you mood lifting because we did a CBG to CBD blend. And then there's a particular type of terpene blend that's in there that's going to create those effects. So there's a modulation effect between the terpene profile, the CBG and the CBD, along with lion's mane and cordyceps in clarity.
So clarity, like when I started taking it, the way it was described to me was it's kind of like taking Adderall without all the crazy ass things that come with taking Adderall. So you're not going to have a crazy ass heartbeat. You're not going to be feeling kind of tweaky, and you can actually focus and be clear on what you're doing. So for the homies doing spreadsheets all day or taking phone calls all day, um, kind of helps you focus. That's why we named it clarity. But I also noticed that it kind of was like an energy boost drink for me a little bit. Like it was like I drank a Red Bull without all the shady effects. So it's kind of like it's good in the morning, right? And I was also told that the CBG actually helps with anxiety as well, right?
Yeah, so that's funny you say the shady effects because the whole point about this particular product and the products that I always try to get behind is making sure they're all pure, organic. There's no, like you look at the sugar calorie, there's no sugar, there's no calories, there's no bad ingredients, there's nothing in it but those pure compounds and how we formulated them. And so CBG and CBD together are really going to help you focus like mental focus, and the boost of energy is coming from the terpenes, but also there's a little guarana in it. So there's like organic mixtures of other herbs and plants. So there's actually like five things going on that create a really unique synergistic approach. And that's all health benefits, and there's a ton of benefits with like lion manes and cordyceps, people that are listening like diabetes and autoimmune conditions,
A lot of that.
you know.
a lot of that. And at the end of the day, alternative plant medicine is super important. Anytime you can get these things in your body for immunity and just to keep your body on point, especially right now with COVID, it's a little wild. Um, for these bedheads, these change the game for me. Look, I can't sleep at night. I took regular CBD. Regular CBD never really put me down. I've taken melatonin. I'd be waking up hella groggy when I have to take a piss at night. I'm stumbling to the bathroom because I'm all grogged out. The bedheads that we put together is the truth. I'm
That
able
is the
to.
truth.
I'm actually ready. Like when I take them before bed, 4 is my sweet spot. I started out with two. Two worked a little good for me. 3 was cool, but 4, after a long ass day of like me just doing what I do,
Yeah.
4 of these bedheads right here actually hella helps relax my mind, relax my body, and I'm able to get some good ass sleep on them. Can you break down exactly what style of mushroom is in the bedhead, and a little more details on the CBN aspect of it as well?
Yeah, so a lot of people are very familiar with CBD. The CBN is basically a new compound that's kind of coming on the scene. People are starting to hear about it. I've been working with it for 5 years. I have mechanical apparatuses in patents that help create CBN. So I'm able to make this CBN molecule, which I call the knockout molecule. Essentially, it's taking the psychoactiveness out of THC. We're aging it and converting it. So you may think that like you may have like it's a non-psychoactive ingredient, but it does have the sedative properties. So in like small doses, it's really good for like anxiety. Like you could actually take it in smaller doses during the day. If you took 4 of those during the day, you're knocked out.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But
that,
if I took one, like let's say I woke up and I took 2 of the clarities when I take my other vitamins in the morning, and then around noon I took 1 of the bedheads, it would help. Like it would help with anxiety or being anxious or just kind of mellowing out a little bit, right?
yeah, hell yeah. And then so if you look at CBN as the knockout molecule, that one is like huge benefits for anxiety, calming, it helps you get the rest that you're looking for. But pairing it, like that one has a 5-way blend of mushrooms. So when I look deeper into what would be really good while you're resting, is also repairing the gut and immunity, right? And so there's this 5-way blend. You've got turkey tail, you got reishi, you got some cordyceps, you got chaga. Um, there's just a perfect blend of every type of mushroom that's going to be targeting your autoimmune and your immunity, and it's good to do that while you're resting. So it has different mushrooms. It has the other spectrum of mushrooms. So it's like if you're taking clarity during the day and you're taking the bedhead at night, you're getting your overall daily cannabinoid uptake, CBG, CBD, CBD, CBN, and then you're also getting all this uptake from the mushrooms. And the mushrooms have a lot. So like this isn't like a little bit of mushrooms. These are like 10 to 1 freeze dried like concentration of all organic mushrooms are certified, right? So they're certified organic, and Jeff's like a guru in this for 40 years. And so
Jeff, what's his full name? Jeff Schoen?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yep, the guy that was on the show with us before.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like amazed by this guy. He was like mushroom guru for like 40 years.
Yeah.
He's like the best guy, one of the best guys on the planet. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, we came up with a new nickname on the podcast we did together, gas station mushrooms. A lot of people are hopping in the game right now. We wanted to go to best in class. Tony's been killing it for us on the extract side. How long do we put into these products? A little over a year.
Yeah, for sure.
A little over a year.
Yeah.
For me, I started taking the bedheads about a year now, and then for the last 7 months, I started taking clarities. It's a part of my daily routine. I wanted to get on here and do this live with you to let people know that these are for your body, for all kind of immune benefits, to have your immunity up, for sleep, for relaxing your body. It's helped me a lot as a person. And when you look at price on the market, we're not going to mention other brands. This is very fairly priced. For people who are into these kind of things, for people who are taking their vitamins every day, they care about the way they sleep, these products right here are super fire. So we want to kind of break down what exactly was in these, kind of the dream team that we worked on with it. I know you use. Did you get any kind of game or anything from Dr. Ethan Russo on the terpene blend? Did you kind of like get any advice from him or work with him on this at all?
Yeah, so you know, he's someone that I always looked up to. A lot of like the theoretics of things in my head, like over the last decade, of like the idea of just breaking down cannabinoids and terpenes into ratios, into classifications, really spawned from his publications. So he's someone that like put out two papers that I think really changed it changed like the industry and how they thought about terpenes interacting with cannabinoids and an endocannabinoid deficiency. And for those that are like listening, that's just a system between our mind and our body that keeps us in homeostasis. And so mushrooms do that too. And ultimately, he's he's someone that like pioneered this thought. And so, you know, he's got he's you know he's involved with this other type of company, um, terpology,
Okay,
right? So with true terpenes. So what I was looking for is like very specific blends. And so he worked on formulations with terpology. And so I used some of those terpene blends and some of these unique terpene blends in the final formulations along with those mushroom terpenes. So
that's dope. And so right now these are available at cookiescbdstore.co. The next ones we plan on working on is the THC version, which will be super super interesting. I can't wait to drop those. To your knowledge, has anyone done anything like this just for these first products, CBD, CBN, CBG with the mushroom blend? Like, has anyone pulled anything off, like this off yet?
I mean, that was asked me the other day. I did some research. I saw a couple, like, you know, obviously people for years have been probably combining mushrooms, you know, just general bulk about it, just trying to find what mushrooms they can and maybe a full spectrum type of oil. Um, you know, I'm sure people have possibly tried to do something like that, but I haven't seen anyone that went as deep as we did, trying to specifically make these formulations to an exact ratio, to an exact dosing. And they're pretty high dose. Like their each capsule is like 25 milligrams. And I was saying those mushrooms, they're
Hmm.
300 milligrams per capsule. So it's really high on the mushrooms. There's a lot of beneficials in there. So it's like this is going to be interesting because I also think like we're in an undiscovered area, right?
Yeah, it's new. It's a new SKU and kind of first to market with it, especially with the THC. Like once you start, what are you gonna do with the
Yeah.
THC? Like, are you gonna take like certain strains, strain specific with how are you gonna take it with the THC? Because I know
So
a lot of people unfortunately aren't tripping off their bodies, which they should be. You should be tripping off your body and the way your body functions 100%. But a lot of people are like, how can I get high? All right, cool. So we got the THC versions coming. Are we gonna do some strain specific mushroom mixes and blends? What are you planning on doing?
yeah, so I mean, just to clear the air, like these are going to be global, right? And that's why we
Yeah,
did this first, because you got to get in first, and you got to start here. And so we want to make sure that people get this first, and then the TH
global, England,
global,
Japan,
everywhere,
wherever you're at, Australia,
everywhere,
whatever it is you can get
which
me
means we
to the
could,
door.
which means we could research it too. So not only
Yeah.
you're going to get it out there now people from different countries can research it. So that's the baseline. And then moving into THC, then it gets into a restricted market for those that are licensed in different places, which you do a lot of work in a lot of different states and countries. So now the next trend, we start in California, and then this starts to hit every operator that you guys are working with. But you know, that's the exciting part because we're doing strain specific, um, like cookies capsules with the THC, and I've been working on like rosin capsules as people have been kind of following me, and they're like water soluble. So these are different. These are capsules that you can eat. You could you know drop them into water or teas. It's a different delivery method altogether. But once you overlay now THC, which is a psychoactive ingredient, right? Because psilocybin is also a psychoactive ingredient. Now we get into the psychoactive realms, and I think that we're going to find some interesting things. Um,
For sure.
I know the first R&D ones. Um, I still feel like people like, you know, these other capsules, like I feel them. Like the clarity ones,
Oh, I feel
I
them too.
I feel them.
I feel them. I mean, here's the thing. I recommend if you go online, you buy these tonight. Look, when you start with the clarity, start with one a day. When you start with the bedheads, I say start with two a day. You know, I've taken three clarities, and I was on. I was on my phone. I was
I
busting
feel
plays.
good.
You feel good. You know what I mean? And for the bedheads, well, four is my sweet spot when I really need to pass out. That shit is super strong. So I feel them. And the first time I ever took them, I was laughing at night. And my girl's like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "Cause I'm so fucking relaxed right now." It wasn't like a stoned relax. It wasn't like a drunk relax. My mind and my body was just so chilled out. I felt light as a feather, and I passed the fuck out. So you will feel them. Um, Besides the THC, mixtures that we're working on, please believe we came out with a logo like this because we plan on expanding this category for sure. We enjoy mushrooms recreationally. We know that there are great medical benefits to them, so that's why we're dropping them. But you better believe that in markets that's going to open up, Amsterdam, there will be a Cap Smart Shop for sure. In Oregon, we do see that there will be a Cap Smart Shop when the time allows. We're going to keep doing what we do, and we're going to research as much as we can. So by the time it does go legal, we have years ahead of everyone as far as researching. Shout out to the homies. There's a lot of homies out there doing research on the underground right now, but we're putting our focus there too because, shit, it's game changing shit. It's good to open your mind up.
Yeah, I think you're going to get like really interesting as you get into the THC variety, especially as you guys are breeding. You have like 100 different kind of terpenes in there, so you're going to get a different type of effect. But, I was just going to just put on this note that the mushroom blends in there, they're also beneficial for lung health, heart health. So I just feel like it's a good complementary, especially for myself. I'm an adult, like I want to try to maintain during the
I'm an
day.
adult. I'm 37. Look, I wake up, I take my vitamins, I take my vitamin D, I take my zinc, I take my vitamin C, I take my clarity, and it's just a part of my vitamin regimen for my body. You have to. I'm not gonna work this hard to end up falling off. And at the end of the day, the more you can put in your body that's going to benefit you like this, the better. So
Yeah,
for those tapped in that just really care about their body, I know a lot of people are preaching that sea moss and all these things. It's important that as stoners, as people with platforms, I see a bunch of cats in here with platforms too. You gotta preach, this health. That's the only weapon we have against COVID right now, for sure. And a
that's
guaranteed
it.
weapon we have is our health.
Yeah, arm your body with it. Um,
I
I'm
wanted to
excited
tell you
for it, man.
too. The cereal milk, that cereal milk hash you gave us in LA was insane.
So good.
Scott Storch is on my line right now for a baller jar that he hit me last night. Says cereal milk me. I was like, okay, I got you, brother. I got you. But I encourage everyone to follow my brother Tony right here. He's killing it on the extract side. Super, super, super proud to be working with you on the caps. You did your thing on this, and I can't wait to drop the THC version in the cookie store, especially being strain specific.
Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate you taking the time to break it down. Everyone's been asking me about caps, and I wanted to give them the full rundown, and they're available now. So go fuck with them. I just ordered some bedheads because I'm out, so I ordered some this morning when the site went live when Parker texted.
It was funny. My brother he was taking them, and then he was like, "Hey, did these have like psilocybin in them?" And I was like, "No, not yet." He was like, "Okay, I feel real good from them though." And I'm like, he's the thing like about the vitamins, and I just want to say this again is like why I like the formulation personally. I try to create things that you could feel, and like you could take a gummy vitamin, right? And you think you're just taking something, you're not sure like what if it's really helping. You're just hoping that it's helping. You know what I mean? With these, like you have an effect. So even though it's non-psychoactive and you can access them, there is an effect. And
Well, the fact that you guys are formulating them personally, you can
yeah,
look at Blue River's work on the hash side. Like,
yeah,
it's just like high class formulation. It's not like let's get some shit from out of country and just package it. Like, this is put together here with bomb ass materials, with love and real just energy behind it. So you're killing it, bro. Like, this shit is real. And I'm not going to I want to tell people this, but I'm not going to make it a claim. But a couple of my buddies have been taking bedheads on the regular, have said that their dreams have been a lot more real. We talked about this. So when I was getting like 3 or 4 hours a night of sleep from just being scattered, my dreams could kind of be anything. They're all over the place. But when I started getting like real sleep and I was resting, it felt like my dreams were a lot more like, they were a lot more organized, a lot more real. They were just able to kind of like have
Hmm.
its path. You know what I mean? So I've been having really like good dreams off this because I feel like I'm resting well. I feel like my mind is able to be relaxed and kind of dream what it wants to dream. When I was waking up all night doing 3 or 4 hours a night of sleep, my dreams are anything. I dream like random ass shit. So that's not something we're gonna put on the box as we're not gonna claim it's gonna help you dream better. But I and a couple other people
What
have been
about in the
dreaming.
what about in the studio? Like you got, because you've been taking this day, night.
Yeah,
It's
for
got to be
about a year.
balancing you.
Yeah,
It's
for
got to be
about a year.
balancing you.
In the studio, man, like I take these in the morning because I get up at 6 and I get on the phone and start making calls. When it's 6 on the West Coast, it's 9 on the East Coast. So, I got to get up early and start making moves. It just helps me. It's like my cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't take any caffeine or anything like that. And so when I take these, I just feel that natural boost in the AM. So when I go to the studio, I go during the day. I don't do nighttime studio sessions. I go in like around 11 or 12. So it's definitely been helping for sure. I mean, fuck, I knocked out 5 albums this year. I'm just
I
saying,
also,
like, I
but I
knocked out
mean, yeah, I mean
five,
something's going on, right? You're looking
five,
good. I mean, you're
and
starting. I feel good knowing that, like when we were talking before, like it just like you're vibing and you're being healthy and you're being conscious. And a lot of people, they get things going in life, and they let themselves go when they get on top or on their way there. And I'm proud of you because you're like really taking your mental and your physical and your health for real.
you got
You're,
to. When you got kids, you got to.
yeah,
It's our responsibility to be here for them and teach them and guide them for as long as we can. So I got to be here, man. I ain't going nowhere. And
yeah.
we got a lot more shit to do with this. Tony, I got to bust down some dinner for the wife. I promised I was going to cook tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my high ass in the kitchen and see what I can come up with. But thank you for sharing the knowledge. If you're checking these out, man, give us your feedback. They're available right now. Cookiescbdstore.co. I might have said it wrong. I'm high, but good shit, man. Tony, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I
Thank
appreciate it,
you.
brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thank
Right
you.
on, man. Y'all have a good night too. Happy holidays, motherfuckers.
Happy holidays.